Hi, I'm Alan, and this is my channel. Alan talks about stuff.
Newman and the Disastrous Cotton Bowl trip. I had this friend. For the sake of this story, I'll call him Newman. Why Newman? Basically, because of this trip, he became my nemesis, like Jerry Seinfeld's Newman. Whenever I think of the trip to the Cotton Bowl and this guy, I always say his name the same way Jerry would say Newman. Basically, I was friends with Newman in junior high, but Newman had moved away recently and moved back to the area and wanted to reconnect with people he knew 10 years earlier. He kind of invites himself on this trip last minute. I honestly didn't care. Guy seemed alright in junior high, but I hadn't really seen him in 10 years. The trip started off just fine. 8 of us left our home place where we were going to meet up with maybe 5 others. 4 people rode in my car and 4 people rode in Newman's car. Now, Newman had a Chrysler LeBaron convertible, and Newman seemed really proud of this car, like it was a fully stocked 57 Chevy or something. But this was a 1994 Chrysler LeBaron convertible. So the plan was the 8 of us in 2 cars go to Wichita, Kansas, where we meet up with other friends who have a van. Plan was we'd take the van and one of our cars to Dallas, Texas. Newman had mentioned to me how he wanted to take his precious 1994 Chrysler LeBaron convertible to Dallas. And I was like, okay. But the day we're getting ready to leave, I have numerous people tell me they want to take my car. My car has a lot more room and a lot more trunk space. So I go break the bad news to Newman, but he's kind of defiant, tells me he's taking his car. I'm like, you're going to drive all the way to Dallas, Texas by yourself in your car? Question mark. He's like, yes. So this annoys the entire group even more because we're all dividing up the cost of gas evenly, and that's one less person chipping in. So we take off, and there's Newman following us all by himself all the way to Dallas, Texas. The next fly in the ointment was the first time we stopped to eat. We stop at a Taco Bell, KFC, 2 restaurants in one. And Newman tells me he doesn't like either one of these restaurants. I'm like, well, you got your own car. You can go wherever you want to. But this is already starting to become annoying. We're in a group of 13 people. If we go check every time whether or not Newman agrees with all other 12 people what kind of restaurant we're stopping at. In a group of 12 people, if we have to make sure it's a unanimous decision every time we stop, we'll never make any decisions. So back on the road to Dallas, we make it to Dallas, and it's the day of the game. Since Newman asked to go last second, he didn't have a ticket with the group. He asked me if he can drive his sweet Chrysler LeBaron convertible to the game. I asked around, and a couple of the girls agreed to ride with us. So Newman's dream of driving his Chrysler LeBaron convertible in Dallas, Texas is about to come true. This game was played in the old Cotton Bowl. If you were aware of this, you would know it's not in the greatest part of town. We're following the van to the game, but Newman gets lost and we get separated from the van. We're driving around this sketchy neighborhood with the top down, trying to find our way to the Cotton Bowl. As we're driving around, all these people are just sitting on their porch. It's pretty obvious we're lost. The 2 girls that came with us are very uncomfortable. After about 15 minutes or so, we get out of there, somehow find our way back to the stadium, even find the van and the other group of people. So we go into the game. Game doesn't go our way. Opposing team scores with like 30 seconds left, and we lose by like 2 points. We all head back out to the vehicles, and Newman, who wasn't sitting with us, is nowhere to be found. We wait around for him like 15 or 20 minutes, and the people in the van are ready to go. Both of the girls are like, we don't want to ride back with Newman. At this point, I'm pretty annoyed with Newman and elected to ride back with the van. I didn't want to stand there waiting for who knows how long, all by myself. I already got the glorious experience of getting to ride in a 1994 Chrysler LeBaron convertible in the worst neighborhoods in Dallas, Texas. So Newman makes it back to the hotel. Another thing about Newman, he was a recovering alcoholic that didn't drink. The other 12 of us were mid-20s, either still in college or just out of college. We were there to have a good time. Well, I'll imagine Newman wasn't happy we left him at the game. And that night he tells me he has other plans and isn't going to go out with us. I'm actually okay with this. But when we get back to the hotel at 2 a.m., we're drunk. We think it's funny. We all rush into his room, jump on his bed, and wake him. Newman really didn't like this. So next morning, like at 6 a.m., he wakes me up and tells me he's heading home. I'm like, we need your car to get everybody back from Wichita back home. I can't fit 8 people in my car. He's like, I'm heading home. I'm like, okay. I kind of tell the group, I get one friend to ride home with my parents and his mom. I'm sure that was way funner experience than driving back with his college friends in a van. But it got the number down from 8 to 7 with a 3-hour drive from Wichita back home. We get to Wichita, the 7 of us somehow get all of our luggage into my car, and the 7 of us get into the car. I had bucket seats up front, so it was myself driving, in the passenger seat a friend and his girlfriend, back seat 3 guys, and one of the girls laid across all 3 of them. So we're all loaded up. We get about 50 miles from Wichita when I get a flat tire. All 7 of us get out of the car, get all the luggage out, get the tiny spare and jack out, and change the tire. While we're broke down, a highway patrol officer stopped and had his lights on behind us. We were almost done, but I kept thinking, no way in hell he's going to let all 7 of us back into the car and head on down the road. So we're ready to head out. Cop stands there watching all 7 of us get back into the car. I'm thanking him for helping. He's just watching us, but not saying anything. I get back in the car. We wave at him, and we all drive off. It's late at night, so nothing open to change a tire. We stop at a Walmart tire. The tire shop is closed, but a buddy of mine asks if he sells us a tire, can he use the machine to mount it? He's a mechanic. Guy actually says yes, but when he checks to sell us the tire, they're out of that size. He tells us it's an odd sized tire, so nobody will probably have one this late at night. So the 7 of us hop back into the car and drive the last 130 miles on my donut spare tire, 40 miles an hour all the way home. The entire time I'm trying to figure out the perfect way to murder Newman and get away with it. That's the story of my disastrous trip to the Cotton Bowl. No Newmans were harmed in the making of this story. Newman is still alive and well today, as far as I know.
Once again, this is Alan. This is my channel, Alan Talks About Stuff. Thanks for watching.